I'm Sophie, and today I wanted to talk about relatable characters. So it's not as much talking about relatable characters, but the concept of character relatability and how readers look for it and critique it, and what I think about that pursuit of having a character be relatable and relating to characters, and how I think that kind of shouldn't really be our focus. So yeah, let's get right into it. First, I wanted to make sure that you are signing all the petitions regarding the murder of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and so many other black people. I'm gonna link some below. Please, they don't take any time. Just sign those petitions, donate if you can, and keep spreading awareness and educating yourself and those around you. So first of all, what is character relatability? I hear it all the time when people are talking about reviews, mostly when they're talking negatively about a book, or just like they didn't really like it, they didn't really care for it, and so I've heard so many people say, I couldn't really relate to the characters, and I just didn't like it, didn't do anything for me. And that always struck me as kind of weird, because I mainly read fantasy, and I read about so many different and interesting types of people that are nothing like myself, even through my core things that make me me. Like, I'm very reserved person. People think I'm mysterious and they don't really know me well. I guard things to myself, but I'm really passionate about certain stuff, and that's the main things that people see about me. Now, when I see a character like myself, character that's more reserved but is always processing what they're feeling and what they're thinking, and their brain's always working behind their eyes, behind the scenes, I don't instantly go, there, that character, that one, I like them because they're like me. That's never really been a thing with my reading and my taste in characters. So when I hear that in reviews, mostly booktube reviews, I couldn't really relate to the characters. It didn't really do it for me. In what way couldn't you relate to the characters? Because for me, relating to the characters is not something I don't count on at all. One of my favorite characters of all time is Evelyn Hugo from The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. She is cunning, she goes after what she wants, she has her core values, she is not to be lightly fucked with, she's a hardcore Slytherin, and that's not a lot like myself, but she is tied with another character for my favorite character of all time. And that's because I really admire her as a person and her complexity as a character, and I really empathize with her in her situation in her life. It's not just because the character is like me, or I could relate to the character's struggles, or the character's struggles, motivations, or simply their personality, that I'm not gonna like a character, or I'm not gonna form a connection to a book. I think it's really weird also, because I think our main tool in reading books is empathy. We can read, I mainly read fantasy, we can read so many things and so many made up in different worlds with different kinds of people and different cultures, and we can, at the end of the day, love and connect to those stories because of empathy. We see a character, we don't need to put ourselves in that place. We just see, oh, I feel for them, I have compassion for them. Doesn't necessarily mean they have to be like me. Does that mean that I just form a connection to people that are like me? When I say I didn't form a connection because I didn't relate to the character, that's really weird. Compassion for me is what really should and does drive us forward as readers when we connect to characters. It's not about relating to the character's motivation or struggles, it's about feeling for somebody else in their motivations and in their struggles. And I mean, people say that all the time. I couldn't relate to the characters and connect with the story because the characters just weren't relatable to me. What does that mean? Because when you say I couldn't connect to the story and the characters because they weren't relatable, because I didn't relate to them, you're saying I can't connect with something that's not like myself. And that's really weird. And I know that is not true. I know that's not what these people are saying. And that's what that statement implies. And people say that all the time, and it really strikes me as weird, because most of my favorite characters are nothing like myself, or like their little brother died and they were sold into slavery, and now they want revenge and they want to survive. I've never been in that situation. I've never been in that situation. I never will be in that type of situation. hopefully. Does that mean that this character, Caledon Stormblast, can't be my favorite character of all time just because I don't relate to his situation, motivation, or characters? Granted, he is my favorite character of all time because of his arc in The Way of Kings, because of his struggle with depression that I absolutely relate to. And that's another point. Relating to a character, like seeing your struggles reflected in a character, is very important for attachment, to form attachment to a book. And I will not take away from that. Relating to a character's struggles is so important and so good to experience that. Caledon is my favorite character of all time because of his struggle with depression and because his core values are strong and he will do nothing to defy them. That's who he is. And I relate a lot to that. That's a lot like me. Almost everything about him is a lot like me. Does that mean that I only like him because he is like me? No, that means he's my favorite because I really relate to who he is and his motivations. Now, Dallin, another character also in the Stormlight Archive, I am not like him at all. He's super honorable dude. I'm not that honorable. And he has other type of character, and I love him so much. And his character arc in Oathbringer is one of my favorites of all time. I do not relate to him. That doesn't mean I can't love him as one of my favorite characters. So that's kind of the point I wanted to make, that I think it's overall really weird when people say I didn't like the story. Like, it's completely fine to say you couldn't get an attachment to the story because you couldn't, like, the book didn't elicit any strong feelings or compassion in you. That's normal. Now, saying I didn't like this book because it didn't relate to the characters is really, really weird, because you can love a book even if you don't relate to the characters' motivations, struggles, or personality. And I agree that it's a point on, if you didn't relate to the characters, that's a super valid reason for not liking a book as much, but to not like a book because none of the characters were like you, it's really weird to me. And I hate when people say that and they don't elaborate on that. I mean, oh, the characters weren't relatable, didn't like it. Like, what does it mean? You mean the characters weren't well written and didn't elicit enough compassion in you? Do you mean that you just didn't connect to the characters and to the story, which is completely normal? That happens to me all the time. Or does that just mean that none of the characters were like you didn't like their motivations, they were a type of person that you haven't met before, or that you're nothing like? What does it mean? I can't offer any solution or answer to this question and problem. I can just like say a little bit of my feelings on it, my problems on it, and just hopefully make you think a little bit about the next time you say it didn't relate to the characters, or I didn't like this book because it didn't relate to the characters. Yeah, my name is Sophia. Don't forget to sign the petitions and donate if you can, and I'll see you next time. Bye!